to a brand new episode of Hello, I'm Listening. With me, Dani.
And your main host, and the reason why you're here, Woifi.
I'm just going to let that be dead air so you don't get any satisfaction.
No, I do, because the people cheer.
They cheer.
Yeah, they don't. You don't hear that, but I hear
You know what you don't hear? All of the eye rolls that are happening when you say that.
Yeah, you know why you don't hear that? Because
You know, if a bunch of people... Yeah, but that's exactly my point. You're admitting then that there's a bunch of eye rolls.
There's not. There's maybe one. That's yours.
I didn't roll my eyes that time.
Oh. We mentioned our Patreon on here.
We did.
And since we have our first Patreon
We
now,
do. Are the people that join on Patreon, are they called Patreons?
Yeah. They're Patreons.
Not like Patronians?
No, they're our Patreons.
I like Patronians better.
Or supporter. But we usually do that at the end of the episode if we have something to, But since it's our first Patreon,
yes,
we like to do that at the beginning.
Thank you for being a Patreon.
Joe. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
We really appreciate it. Much love to Indiana. And
Indiana.
And the next time we'll be in the US, we'll meet in Chicago or somewhere else.
Chicago.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Thanks, Joe.
So what are we doing now?
We're doing a podcast.
Oh.
Were you unclear about the fact that we were doing a podcast?
No,
or?
I thought we were dubbing porn.
So.
Yeah, baby.
I like it like that, baby. Maybe they're just playing tennis.
Yeah.
Daddy. Oh no.
Yeah.
I hope none of you have your kids in the car or something.
Like
kids, they're wrestling.
Yeah. Yep. No. We're, of course, doing another episode because since now we have a Patreon, we actually need to.
Yeah.
No. No, but seriously, if you want to support us, head over to Patreon. Look at it. There are 2 tiers right now. We might add a third one. And yeah, I mean, other than that, obviously, subscribe, follow, rate the podcast, and share the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll say that again at the end of this episode.
Yeah, we'll repeat that. Little plug. Our episode this week is about porn. No, it's not.
What is with you and porn today?
I don't know.
Maybe we haven't had sex in a while.
Yeah, maybe.
And whose fault is that?
I'm not the one who bleeds out of her asshole.
Out of my asshole?
So,
with that lovely image.
No, but seriously.
Okay, seriously.
I'm a little torn right now.
Why are you torn?
Because...
Are you rip torn?
I wish. Rest in peace. The thing is, we need more feedback from people who actually listen to a podcast.
We do.
Because sometimes we just, it's like sticking your hand into a toilet and hope that there's no unflushed shit there. And it's basically just clear water.
It's a horrible metaphor.
And
who just sticks their hand in a toilet anyways?
If you would need to, and there's
For
no
what
light.
purpose?
Yeah. I don't know. Danielle, just
you drop
go
your
with
phone
it.
in the toilet or something?
For example.
There you go. That works.
Or your keys, or it's clogged, and then you know it's shit.
Then you know it's shit.
So it's not clogged. But maybe you dropped your keys in there and the light is out,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But what I wanted to say is that we need more feedback so we can adjust our topics accordingly. Because sometimes I feel like, ooh, let's do something serious and something that might help people.
Mm-hmm.
But then people are like, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear fun stuff. Or you do the other way. You do fun stuff and like pop culture shit, or like the Jeffrey Dahmer episode, which actually is pretty fire if you haven't listened to it yet. And
You're so cool saying fire.
that's what the young people say.
I don't think they say that
I don't think they say it anymore.
I think that's pretty out now.
And then people are like, yeah, I want to hear more about your life, or serious shit, or life lessons and stuff like that, where I can actually learn something.
But I also think that we have a good balance between the two. Like, I feel like every episode, let's be real, every episode is silly at some point in the episode because we talk a lot of nonsense.
And because I'm funny, naturally. Yeah. The thing is, I'm right.
You're not always funny, though.
Oh,
there are times where you think you're being funny and it's not funny. And then you're like sitting over here laughing at your own jokes that aren't funny.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay.
No. No,
Danielle, it never happens.
No.
You can't see this.
Only
is the thing. You
because
can't admit.
you think I'm not always funny. It's just you saying that you don't have the best sense of humor.
But I have a great sense of humor.
Yeah, but not the best, because if you would have the best, you would laugh at everything I say.
The thing is, I usually laugh at things you say, but sometimes you repeat things so often that it's no longer funny.
Like what?
There are things that you do that you repeat, like certain songs that you repeat or certain jokes that you repeat, where after a certain time, they're not funny anymore. Some of them are. Some of your songs are still funny.
I'm pretty original.
But I could say the same thing, that just because you don't think that I'm funny doesn't mean that I'm not funny.
You can be. You most of the time choose not to.
That's not true. I am funny. Just because I don't tell as many poop jokes as you doesn't mean I'm not funny.
Yeah, classic good poop joke goes a long way.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Feedback.
Yeah. So just we will you know what? Tomorrow when that episode, so today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. So when you listen to the episode, you should head over to our Instagram.
Yes.
To our podcast Instagram, which is I'm Listening Podcast.
I'm Listening Podcast.
Yeah. And
is it I'm Listening or I Am Listening Podcast?
It's I'm.
So I am.
I'm Listening Podcast.
At I am, like the letter M.
Yeah, I'm
Listening Podcast.
I'm Listening Podcast. Head over there and just tap yes or no. Or whatever we put in this story.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
We'll have a little poll or something in the
story.
Also,
if you're on Spotify, the poll will also be in the app. So if you scroll down, like past the description of the episode, you will see a little poll.
You can do that on Spotify now?
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Not a lot of people know that because they didn't really advertise it. But yeah, it's interesting. So
yeah, but I also don't use Spotify, so.
No, but it basically tells you what to do. But we just want to know if the mixture is good, if we should do more silly stuff, if we should do more serious stuff, or keep it going like that.
Yeah.
So, quickly to the topic so we can end the shit show. Today we're talking about regrets. Regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets. And
regrets.
Yeah, like something you would do differently if you look back in time, or if you would tell your younger self something that you should have known, or even something that you have done that you regret to this day.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've talked about this brief. I don't know if we did a full episode on it or if it just happened to come up in an episode.
We talked about it at some point.
But we talked about it at some point, and I think it was still when we were translating Love.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I don't have regrets. Like,
there's one sitting next to me.
I don't.
Burn.
I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I think that everything that you do, every action that you make, every choice that you make leads to where you are. So even if it's just like a small trail there, and like the smallest change maybe wouldn't make a huge difference, you know, like the whole butterfly effect thing, but I have always felt that there's no point in having regret, because it's better to just learn from your mistakes than to wish you never made them.
Wow, that's so deep.
That is kind of deep.
Yeah, look at you, being deep and shit.
Yeah, see, you say, wow, that's so deep in a very sarcastic way with a tone.
No. Maybe. No, I'm saying it because you're right. Also, you're going all philosophical on me.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
But that's not super philosophical. It's just that's how I feel.
Yeah, you're a saint.
There are things that there are like small things that I sometimes wish I would have maybe done differently or handled differently. You know, like I wish I handled this situation in a different way.
Sure.
Or like an argument that we had. I wish I would have handled that argument in a different way. However, I don't regret handling it in the way that I handled it, because then you learn from it and you can say, okay, this is what happened. This is how I reacted, or this is how I, was
True.
in this situation.
True.
I don't like that I was that way in this situation, or I don't like that I handled it this way, but moving forward, now I know that I don't like that I handled it that way, and I'll handle it differently in the future.
Hopefully. Yeah. That's it.
That's the whole episode.
Actually it. Nah, I don't know. The biggest, I think at some point in life, you get to the point where I think regret is something that I think you eventually get rid of the older you get, because you see that
I think it depends on how your life was.
Right. Certain things in life taught you something, and if you evolve and if you change and if you
but if you
grow
don't,
past your older self, you see that regret is nothing that is worth,
it's just not worth it to
having
regret
it.
things. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I feel like that's unfortunately not the case with a lot of people. I mean, I
No,
can think of one
obviously
person off the top of my head who I won't mention, but I will think, who's complete narcissist and is an older person now.
Yeah.
And, I don't think that he will ever feel like, oh, I think he'll always think he had such a great life and everyone loved him, even though he was an ass to everybody that he knew.
Yeah. It's interesting, if you type in regret in Google, it tells you like the definition, and it says feel sad, repentant, or disappointed over something that one has done or failed to do. And
it's weird that remorseful is not in there.
Yeah, but that already tells you that it basically is a very negative feeling, because you lean over something, or you feel sad or disappointed over something you have done.
Yeah, but sadness isn't negative.
I mean, it depends if you bathe in the sadness, and if you.
Yeah, but sadness can be a good thing too.
Sure. But ultimately, I think regretting choices that you made in life also is just a sign that you evolved, and that you hopefully grew past those choices and would do things differently now, which in itself tells you that you're in the right way.
But you can also even say that, regret, if you're having feelings of regret for something, maybe analyze those feelings, and maybe it just means that you need to make a change in your life. So, you can kind of turn that regret around, instead of wallowing in the regret and forever living with it, like, oh, I really wish I would have done that, or I wish I would have handled that differently, or that I whatever, got out of that relationship, blah blah blah. You don't have to live with that regret forever. You can actually actively do something to remove that regret and turn it into a positive thing, and make it something that you learn from.
Or maybe try to make things right.
Yeah.
If you feel like, oh shit, I regret talking to the waiter the way I did, go back there and
Sure.
say sorry. Or even like a customer or something.
Yeah.
Or smaller things, I regret eating that sushi from the gas station. Yeah, don't do it anymore. Don't get sushi at a gas station.
Yeah, please don't do that. That's not good.
Yeah.
Or, if it's like relationship wise, like I regret not, I think it can be one of two ways. I regret not leaving that relationship sooner. So if it's already over, I think it's good to recognize that, but to not wallow in that regret and to be able to move past it by finding a healthier relationship or setting healthier boundaries, like make it an opportunity to learn, why do I regret not leaving sooner? Like, what was it about that relationship that made me feel insecure or made me feel bad or whatever, and actively try to avoid that in the future.
Yeah, and maybe, exactly, see the signs, try to learn what signs could be there to recognize, okay, might be not in the best relationship for myself. Or
so I think it's maybe even better to say, I stick with what I said in the beginning, but I also feel like it's maybe better to say everybody has regrets, because of course I have had regrets in the past, but I think it's what you do with those regrets so that you don't live with that regret forever. So it's like, I currently don't have any regrets because any that I did have, I took the opportunity to learn from them. I
agree.
To avoid having that in the future, or to avoid that regret following me throughout my life.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Ultimately, regret is something that is like a mixture of emotions, maybe. Mm-hmm. It could technically also be described as an emotion.
Sure.
Regretful. But which means it is something that we can actively change. Mm-hmm. We can change our emotions. We can change how we feel about certain things. So maybe sometimes also putting things in a different perspective that changes how we feel about them. Whereas maybe, oh shit, I regret not going to the dentist because that's a stupid thing. But something like that, something small
that's a good one because that relates to me.
Not going to the dentist because and when you went, then oh shit, you have cavities and you have to first of all pay money, but also get your teeth fixed.
People go to the dentist. I didn't go to the dentist I just took really good care of my teeth, but you can take really good care of your teeth and still get cavities. It's just life. It's bone. It deteriorates, whatever. But go to the dentist. I had such a fear of going, so I didn't go for like 14 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And then I finally went, and granted, it wasn't as bad as it could have been because I took care of my teeth, but I still had to get 2 fillings, and, you can just avoid all that shit if you go regularly. So go to the dentist. It's a PSA.
Yeah. No, but I think you get the sentiment.
I think our point is made.
Yeah. Now the question is there something that you regret or you would have done differently in the past, or that you would tell yourself, your younger self, if you would meet it, hey, be careful with that situation?
If I could go back and talk to my younger self, I actually don't think that I would
hit it.
Give myself any warning, like forewarning, like, hey, this is coming.
No, you're not allowed to do that, obviously. That could alter the future.
But couldn't it alter the future if you give your younger self any advice too? Because
no,
it's you giving your younger self the advice that you know that you might need.
Obviously, no, it depends. And the thing is,
it's taking away from the lesson you might learn from what's going to happen.
The thing is, saying things like, maybe don't try to take everything as hard, or something broad, like a life lesson that you could read on like a post-it or something, or like a little whatever, then I don't think it would change the future.
Yeah. I think I would just tell my younger self that, like, you grow up to be a really confident woman. Because I think that would be enough for my younger self.
When you grow up to be a confident, you're like a little girl, like
wow.
a child. Papa, I want some food.
What?
I don't know.
Coming from the man who doesn't cook anything other than spaghetti, and then I have to cook for us all the time.
That's not
Yeah, I'm
true.
sorry. What did you cook yesterday? And
not
what did
fair.
you eat today?
Yeah, there was still some left. God damn it! Should I just throw them away?
And last week?
I don't think we had spaghetti last week.
You had spaghetti last week.
I don't
didn't
think
have
so.
spaghetti last week.
I don't think so, actually.
I'm pretty sure. It's at least once a week that this man cooks spaghetti.
I like spaghetti.
Everybody likes spaghetti. No, but I would tell my younger self, because I think that would be enough for young me to at least either be totally creeped out that some weirdo is coming up to her and saying, "You're going to be a confident woman." You know, probably somebody I would make fun
Mommy, this woman tries to rape me.
of. Wow. But
Abduct. Sorry.
I don't know. The thing is, I don't even know if it would help. I
It
don't know.
wouldn't help.
I'm so
It's
torn
a
with
stupid
that
question
whole
because-
like, would you go back and like, what would you say to your younger self? Because knowing my younger self, I wouldn't believe the person that told me.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, it's a stupid question because that again, if you would answer the question very like prominent and say, "Yeah, that's what I would say it to myself," then that also would mean that you maybe are not super satisfied where you are right now. I mean, things like, "Oh, you should invest in Google," you know, but that would alter the future again
That would alter
completely.
the future. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I
Would
wouldn't
you
tell
say
myself
something to your
No.
younger
I
self?
would just slap myself. I would give myself a good old house ass whooping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Roundhouse kick to the face.
Yeah. With a chair.
Then it's not a kick.
Yeah. I put the chair on my foot and roundhouse kick the chair in my face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's not a whole lot to say on this topic.
I don't know.
Because both of us are kind of the opinion where we're like,
I'm content.
don't have regrets.
No.
Yeah.
I'm content.
You're content.
Yeah.
You don't regret the one thing.
I do. I should have done that differently, but
Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah. Sure. Everybody knows.
I'm talking about like your face and everything, like just how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't regret that?
That's what I just said. Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
should have
do?
done that differently. Yeah.
You should have done your face differently.
Yeah, I should have ran
Probably.
into that saw with my face forward when I had the chance to.
What?
Yeah. To change it.
And you don't regret the most recent thing, you guys don't see him, but the most recent thing is
My haircut.
he got a breast
Enlargement.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Got boobs.
but just on the one side, and it was a weird choice.
I got a mono
Like a
boob.
single breast enlargement. So one of his pecs is like
It's a boob.
a little bigger, and the other one, he actually asked them if they could do it like concave, and they said no, we don't do that.
It would have been cool because I would have been able to use it as a bowl for my cereal.
Or a bowl for your breast, your other boob, just like flop it over onto the other side and let it sit there.
Play a game, the cup game. I throw it and try to catch it with my
Ball in a cup.
boob in a cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over.
Goodbye. No. Follow, subscribe,
Follow.
rate. I'm going to say it in German so people really know I mean it.
Oh boy. But he's going to do a stereotypical German now where it doesn't.
Folge den Podcast. Folge ihm. Like den Podcast. Und like unser Instagram.
Like.
Like. Folge unserem Instagram. Schreibe uns auf Instagram. Something else?
Follow,
What does
write,
subscribe mean in
like,
German?
subscribe. What?
Subscribe.
Isn't that Folge? You said that
Nah.
already. Let's follow us.
Unterzeichne. Nah, not unterzeichne. That's like sign. I don't know what subscribe
Yeah,
means.
but people on like German YouTube and stuff, they say follow, they say Folge.
Ja.
So I think that's what it is. Subscribe.
Und teile unseren Podcast. Teile ihn mit deinen Freunden und deiner Familie.
Share it with your friends and your family.
Exactly. So we actually mean it. And if you want to support us in a different way,
can I just quickly say,
go to patreon.com and we also link it in our description.
Yes.
And you can support us there too.
Can I just quickly say to anyone out there, that was a very stereotypical German. I think there's a lot of people who think that's actually how German people speak.
Sure. Wie geht es dir? Mir geht's gut. Danke. Schmetterling.
Schmetterling.
Butterfly.
Schmetterling. It's actually a really nice language if you speak it nicely.
Yeah. It's true. Also, again, thanks to Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe, for being our first Patreon.
Also, Joe, I like your name because my dad has that name too.
Also, his wife's name is Danielle.
I know. It's cool.
Yeah. There are very many similarities.
What do you mean?
He is a twin.
He is a twin.
Yeah. His wife, Danielle, has a very similar tattoo that you do.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. It's no offense to anybody who has that tattoo, but everybody has that tattoo.
That's true.
It was my first tattoo and everyone has it.
That's true. I've seen it on 15,000 other people, so I wanted it too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Bye.
Bye. Watch out for deer.